Would you say the backrooms are scary, unsettling, unnerving, a new paradigm in horror? So what's the deal with these backrooms? Are these backrooms in the back of the room with us right now? Maybe. I'll briefly set the scene. Right now, The Backrooms is a horror movie, and it's a big hit. It's an unexpected but not that unexpected summer blockbuster. They should have made the slogan, "Turn the liminal space unliminal." Once upon a time, in 2019, it was just a couple anonymous internet people riffing a scary story based on a picture. Here's the picture. Scary, right? Like, I don't know, I guess so. Here's the original scary story, which is more of a scary anecdote. If you're not careful and you no-clip out of reality into the wrong areas... Alright, wait, what's no-clip? It's a video game term. It's basically when a glitch in the game allows you to pass through a wall and access an area in the game that you were not meant to be in, that was meant to just be behind the scenes architecture. If you're not careful and you no-clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the back rooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz, and approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell heard you. People saw this and thought, hey, that's a very evocative, spooky premise. Let's take it and run with it, and expand it into a whole elaborate faux urban legend with lore and recurring imagery and ideas, and a unified aesthetic. One of the people who latched onto it was this guy, who made his own online miniseries, and then went on to direct the Backrooms movie that just came out. Boom. Alright, we're up to speed. Let's dive in. Let's no-clip in. There is a part of me that is unenthused by the whole concept. Yeah, alright, it's a weird maze that looks like an office building. I remember first encountering references to it and feeling like it was a little empty. Where's all the stuff? No, I mean like a little bit hollow and forced. Like someone who was so eager to develop a new creepy internet thing that it was being pushed ahead without anything resonant or all that interesting about it. But really, upon reflection, I'm in denial. I'm in denial into backrooms. I am interested in the core concept, the frightening feeling of being lost and out of bounds, the mystery of dark corridors, the otherworldly sensation of alien geometry. I've incorporated elements of this into my own work, going back to one of my earliest shorts from 2011 that, damn, was also set in an abandoned office building. It's different when I do it. Not really. Perhaps the biggest influence on my personal fascination, which I also feel in the colloquial framework for the Backrooms, as well as the movie, is Mark Z. Danielewski's House of Leaves. There's a lot of interesting things going on in this book, but a notable focal point is one of the characters discovering that his house is, inexplicably, not the same size on the inside as the outside, followed by the even more unnerving discovery of a hallway within the house that seems to go on forever. Without getting too into the weeds and into spoilers, it goes down a lot like the Backrooms. So why does this particular predecessor stand out? We haven't really addressed my assertion that it's really just a scary maze. In fact, in House of Leaves, the looming threat in those hallways is referred to as a minotaur. We can take this trope all the way back to 8th century BC. I was right, it is a stale premise. It's almost 3,000 years old. Danielewski's book remains influential for its synthesis of two effective concepts. One, the book is in an epistolary style, much like Mary Shelley's classic Frankenstein. By framing the work through a series of notes, letters, and recountings, hey, this is referencing Greek myth too. You're not only grounding the story in something that feels tangible and lived in, we're putting each moment into a singular person's perspective. It's the difference between there once was a haunted old house on Willow Lane and on May 16th, I saw something unbelievable in the window of the old house on Willow Lane. The circle makes it scary. The second element is the incorporation of Lovecraftian cosmic horror. Though this wasn't outright invented by H.P. Lovecraft, and you could say that he himself was also reaching back to the framework of ancient myths as well, this refers to a recurring theme in his work, that we as humans cannot even fathom certain concepts and entities that are just too large, too alien, too unknowable, and that to try will just lead one down the path of madness. By combining these 2 points, and yes, adding a lot of razzle-dazzle with the typesetting, House of Leaves just pushes all the right buttons and makes you think, damn, that would be freaky. So what about the movie? The Backrooms is considered one of the premier examples of a broader fascination with something called liminal spaces. This is a notion that has been discussed by anthropologists and architectural thinkers for decades, but in its current iteration dovetails with the particular imagery at play here. Liminal as a word means situated at a sensory threshold, barely perceptible or capable of eliciting a response. I personally think of something like sleep paralysis when I hear it. It also refers to a transitional moment, as in the liminal space between life and death. I am told, when I do a little light reading on the phenomenon, that liminal spaces evoke an uncanny feeling because there's an eeriness to seeing familiar locations and their elements in an unfamiliar way. Seeing them empty, devoid of people, seeing them seem to go on endlessly. Kind of like this review. I'm not sure that this really gets to the heart of it, and I'm not sure the Backrooms really knows what the heart of it is. In the film, there's a reference to, as a matter of explaining the titular maze-like entity, someone attempting to draw a dog without ever having seen one, just going off a description. The idea is that it would be off, just as we spend the movie traversing an environment that is off. But why is that scary?
He could fall down.
The movie, as well as the preceding web series, is set in 1990. This does a nice job of establishing the epistolary element, as we're witnessing a lot of moments through VHS home video footage, and we're studying the action in a furniture store, a location that's widely familiar through TV commercials. I'm not sure this story could be told contemporaneously. The 90s-ness of it all does a lot of heavy lifting, but that does play into the theme of memory. You don't have to have never seen a dog to draw a messed up version of one. You could also be drawing one from memory. The Backrooms are a foggy memory, a half-wrong, distant approximation of a building, of a space. There was an office, but maybe it was a hallway. Maybe it was Christmas. Maybe my clothes were on the floor. Maybe the furniture was here, or there, or nowhere, or all in a pile in the middle of the floor, or all in a pile within the middle of the floor. Or maybe the floor was a door, or was that the wall? This is literalized in the film. We're meant to understand this haunted space as a manifestation of the characters' memories, mimicking their neural pathways, giving shape to their habits, the ways that they are stuck in life and weighed down by their baggage. It's applying architecture and interior design to a troubled feeling, a memory palace for dread and malaise. The film doesn't quite have the clarity of vision to hone in on any one theme or to focus on what makes a liminal space a unique touchstone. I feel a similar feeling to my first read on the concept, that there is, above all, an eagerness to have this be a movie, and less patience to reflect on what is at the center of this all. I did enjoy it, and it's a nice entry into the 2020s horror canon with a few really wonderful set pieces and sequences. But there's still something missing to me. Something, dare I say, sitting at the edge of perception, waiting to be unlocked. Part of me wonders if there's an unspoken core to all of this that's really processing time spent in 3D video games. Look back to the genesis of the idea. It's dependent on a video game concept. And the empty hallways and office-patterned exploratory spaces are extremely evocative of 90s and 2000s first-person shooter games. The release of the Backrooms is following a spate of actual direct adaptations of video games to film, treading similar ground, exploring eerie, depopulated spaces. There's certainly something to this, a strange, lingering feeling for those who grew up with the ability to travel through places that were not quite real. Not at all real. Or were they? Was I really there? Does the imaginary me that I embodied in Mario or Zelda or Final Fantasy or GoldenEye exist in some small way? Trapped there forever like an artificial intelligence that can never take physical form? Isn't the initial Backrooms premise all about being trapped? The original photo that started it all is from a furniture store in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, which, by odd coincidence, is about 30 minutes from where I grew up. There was a time when, as a teenager, a few of my friends and I actually did sneak into an empty furniture store in our hometown that was under renovation, and it was pretty weird and eerie. It was an indelible memory for us for years and years. We all have our own relationship with memory. It's a comfort, but it's also a tool. Once upon a time, we, as humans, were memorizing intricate, detailed pathways through forests, caves, and plains, helping us hunt and gather, helping us get home. Maybe that's why the fear of being lost in a maze has persisted for centuries. It's one of our greatest inner strengths turned against us. What if we never get home? The comfort of memory feels so vulnerable. The idea that something would be wrong or misplaced in our personal recollection is disturbing. It's like body horror, but an invasion of our sense of self, of who we are and where we've been. The out-of-bounds place was always there, a real imagined notion. That we could be trapped in our memory, not just stuck in the past, but actually trapped. It's so imperative to our day-to-day lives, and yet it's not real. A specter always looming just behind our eyes, just out of perception. Anyway, I'm not sure if the Backrooms are scary, but there's something like that.